Hey Internet, what's up guys? It's Alex. I'm back to talk at you in a little thing I call Alex Talks, where I sit here and I talk about video games until I literally just have nothing left to say, which is probably going to take a while, so saddle up. So this week, I'm going to say this week, even though it's probably going to be a second in a week. So today I want to talk about one thing alone, which is the majesty, excuse me, I'm just full of burps, the majesty that is Final Fantasy VII. So, I love Final Fantasy VII. I know not everybody loves Final Fantasy VII. And that's okay, guys. I'm not gonna fucking burn you guys to death. I'm not insane like half the internet sometimes these days. So, it's cool. I'm not angry at you. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my love for Final Fantasy VII. I've been playing it again recently on the PC. I just came to Steam earlier this year. And I love this game so much. I played it again, I think 2 years ago, back in 2011, yeah. I played it on the PS1 Classics on PS3, and I had a great time with it then. But I'm a weird person. I like to go back and play video games over again. And yeah, I know it's weird. And yeah, I just want to play it again. I was feeling it. And there's been, I played through Kingdom Hearts recently. And yeah, I was feeling the Final Fantasy pull. And I just got through my favorite portion of the game. I'm going to give you guys a heads up. If you haven't played, beaten, or understand anything about Final Fantasy VII, I'm going to spoil the shit out of that game. Because it's, I love the story in that game. So we're going to go into this. We're going to dive in. So let's start from the top, though. I don't want to just jump right into my favorite part of the game. It's an ugly game, guys. That game looks a lot like garbage. And if I was looking into a garbage can, I would just see the graphics in Final Fantasy VII. It has these, like, low resolution, blown up, like, pixelated static backgrounds, which I know it looked better on PS1, but it still didn't look good then either. Let's be real. Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy IX both came out on PS1 as well, and they looked so much better than Final Fantasy VII. The game is far from pretty, but it's Popeye people. Popeye people on static backgrounds. You get used to it. You get over it if you can, if you're capable to do that. And, the cutscenes look fine, I would say. They look okay. For PS1, I think they look pretty good. And the pre-rendered stuff is weird because it's still Popeye people working around in these weird pre-rendered backgrounds, and then sometimes the Popeye people are pre-rendered. It's crazy. So the game doesn't look great, but to this day, I still think the combat holds up. It's your active time battle or active time bar or whatever combat, and yeah, I just think it still works. And the materia system is one of my favorite JRPG combat systems in general, where you just you slot in materia into your weapons or armor, and depending on what you pair it with, actually affects how what kind of damage you do. If you do like elemental damage or something, I think that's cool. I think it's really simple. It's really easy to learn, and it just works. I still like the combat in the game to this day. And it's quick, too. You can make it as quick as you want it to be. I really like it, and it's questionable. Some things about that game are questionable. And trust me, I know that my love for that game is still nostalgia-driven. It was my first JRPG, and if you look over here, I love JRPGs, and I talk about why I love them over there. So yeah, I'm a little nostalgic, a little biased in that department. That's cool. I'm willing to admit that. But I'm still ready to sit down and play Final Fantasy VII and get over the heaps that is like don't look good, and the writing it's clearly poorly translated. The fact that Barrett is like he's one of the first major Black Final Fantasy characters, and he it's so racist how they portray him. It's like every other word out of his mouth is a cuss word, and like he speaks in like broken English basically. Yeah, I mean it's poorly translated on top of relatively poorly written in some parts. I think for the most part it's fine, the writing. It's better than something like fucking Ark Rise Fantasia. Jesus Christ. If you've never played that game, avoid it with a 10-foot pole or play that game on mute. Ugh, Lord. But anyway, that's another conversation to have on another day. The story's really cool. If you don't know the story and you don't care about getting spoiled, I'm gonna lay it down for you. It's complicated. So I said we're gonna go deep in this way. So, you got Cloud, right? He's just a dude, mercenary. He used to be in this corporate Shinra company's elite class of soldiers called Soldier. Ironically, he was first class out of 3, and he's badass. But then you're looking at his backstory, and he's reminiscing about 5 years previous. He was on like a mission with Sephiroth, who's like the soldier. He's the badass, Bamf, and he like went apeshit when he found out how he was created by like having Jenova cells genetically placed in him while he was in the womb, as opposed to actually being born from this creature Jenova in the first place. And he lost it, and he burned down Cloud's home village, and then he like brutally injured Tifa, who's like Cloud's childhood friend and love interest. And yeah, it was, it's crazy. But then it's just like they throw this crazy twist at you that's like, no guys, Cloud wasn't actually there. He was just imagining that he was his friend Zack in that situation. Cloud never made it into Soldier First Cloud. Zack did. And Zack told him about this. And he just kind of like created those memories. It's like, what the fuck is this game? What are you talking about? And then you get to my favorite moment, which is a little bit after that. And this is my favorite part of the game, where Cloud and Tifa fall into the life stream, which is just like this stream of consciousness. And their consciousness, I don't know, their consciousness meld together. So Tifa's like in Cloud's head, and he's in pieces, obviously, because he has no idea who the hell he is. And she's trying to pick up the pieces and put it back together. We find out that the Cloud is not just like, he wasn't just created 5 years ago as a Sephiroth clone, which Sephiroth is what he told him. He was there. He was just one of like the regular soldiers, the soldier third class members there. And it ends up that he actually did kill Sephiroth. He took Zack's sword, the Buster Sword, cut that bitch up, and then when Sephiroth stabbed him, he reversed the blade. He picked Sephiroth up and threw him while holding Jenova's head into the life stream. And then you get into this crazy complicated shit where Jenova's head and Sephiroth's head, body, and consciousness fused together in the life stream. So then Sephiroth absorbed Jenova's consciousness. Jenova's an alien creature. That's irrelevant. It's relevant, but I'm not going to go into that. She's crazy. And then he's like, he melds it, and then he takes over all of the Jenova cells that are everywhere, like in Cloud, because Cloud had Jenova cells put in him when they tried to make him a Sephiroth clone. And it ends up that he became Jenova, kind of like, or more likely Jenova became him. And then he's like calling them, he's like controlling all these people, and Jenova's like decapitated body is transformed into Sephiroth, because Jenova cells can take on the form of other Jenova cells or whatever cells. Anyway, it's crazy. That game is so crazy. If you can keep up with anything that I've been saying, then like, how it's crazy. But it funnels you the information. There's so many twists. It's like, no, Cloud, that you weren't there. It was like that moment when I first played it. I was like, what the hell is happening? It's so much fun that it's just like, let's do like a Shyamalan twist, and let's do that in a video game and have it somehow make sense in the end. And it's like, no, well, later, when Cloud was, infused with Jenova cells, he was also infused with Jenova cells from Zack's body, and so he took on Zack's memories and imitated them into his own, because that's what, Jenova cells can do. They can imitate other cells. And it's just like, that's fucked up, man. That's weird. And I don't know, I'm playing through that game again. It's reminding me how crazy that game is. And it's also like dumb in a lot of cases. Like when you you get to play as Sid. Sid gets to be the commanding player character at one point, and just the way he runs, he's just like full arms flying, and it's just that game is really dumb. And you can look over here and you can see me talk about how dumb video games are totally okay. And yeah, it's 1 part dumb, 2 parts like nostalgia, and then 3 parts just really special JRPG magic. And it makes it work, and there's like a lot of really good emotional moments between Cloud and Tifa, and then obviously Aerith's death scene. If you didn't know, Aerith died. I'm sorry, and that's like, you know, that's killer. It still kills me when there's the scene where Cloud returns Aerith to the planet. It's just yeah, it's a magical game. Like it is. This is kind of like really good game caught up in nostalgia, so a lot of people write it off. But, you know, if you've never played Final Fantasy VII and you can get past how kind of ridiculous it looks, then I would say try and give it a shot. I would say it's worth it. It's available on PC, and the combat stuff will look real sharp on PC at the very least. You can mod it if you can manage it. I tried to mod the shit out of that game, but it didn't work. And yeah, I mean, I'm willing to admit that it's nostalgia. That's a lot of what makes me like that game. But it's also, you know, it's a special story to me. It's an emotional story with characters that I actually care about. And characters I know that followed, you know, I played Dirge of Cerberus, guys. I played that game. I enjoyed that game for some sick reason. You know, I watched Advent Children. I enjoyed that. And Crisis Core is actually pretty good, and it's really solid, and that's on PSP. I played that. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff that has derived from Final Fantasy VII. Do I ever think they're going to make a remake of it? Probably not. Not anytime soon, at least. If they do, they're going to have to dedicate a lot of resources to it, because it's, you know, they would have to build that game entirely over again on a new engine from the ground up. And doing that for a remake, I think, would be a lot of work, because you want to not change anything, because then hardcore fans are going to go nuts. But you also want to make it better and maybe update it, so, you know, critics of today will still appreciate it. So, I don't know. I really enjoy Final Fantasy VII. I would say give it a shot. It's $12 on Steam. It's 12, maybe 13. I'm not sure. And yeah, it's a good game. I like it. I know not everybody loves it, but, you know, what you gonna do about that? So, what do you think? What do you guys think about Final Fantasy VII? Do you agree with me that it's just all parts crazy and that works for it, or do you think it's you know, it's garbage? Tell me why. I'd love to know. You can tweet at me at Alfighter27 and let me know, or you can leave it in the comments below. I'd love that. And while you're at it, why don't you give this video a like, subscribe to the Irrational Passions channel, because there's going to be more of this, and then obviously the video version of the podcast goes up every week. And share this with all your friends, because, yeah, and that's the best way to spread this around, and more people watch it. There'll be more people to have a conversation with. And, you know, I'm going to keep talking regardless, so what you going to do? So, yeah, follow me on Twitter, like, share, subscribe, please. And check out the other Alex Talks. In the last one, I talked about how games are dumb, and that's totally cool. And I'm totally down for that. So until next time, people, I'm going to keep talking, and hopefully you guys will keep listening. Peace out, guys. They put out Final Fantasy XIV, which completely fucked from the launch. Yeah. They had to fire everyone, lay off everyone, hire an entire new studio, and rebuild the game from the ground up. Yeah.